Everybody, welcome to a Magic Tool Talk and a laugh and learn about the sense of smell. I am here with Medium Betsy Palmer, Ritchie, Longman Tarot.
Hi.
It was when the three of us were together doing Samhain long stash readings that this topic came up. And I'm like going, let's totally do it. I'm Gerald.
Totally.
Totally.
Yes. So it's great. So, and links are below to everyone's channels. Link is below to the previous conversation that it was Betsy, Jamie, and I had about the clairsenses.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I believe there's even links in there to how to show your support for all of us. And if you need to get a hold of us to do private readings, we do that too. So you know, it's all good. Let's see if this will work. There you go. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Loving it.
So Ritchie, how are you?
I'm very well, actually, for Monday. I think I'm going down with a cold, but that's autumnal thing. But I'm apart from that, I'm fine. So I'm looking forward to discussing the scent today.
Excellent. Betsy, how are you?
I'm doing well today. It is a really pretty day here on Maui.
Nice.
And it's my Saturday. So I'm feeling pretty excited for this conversation and just really happy to be here with these two guys.
Yay. I'm doing very well. I just had a nice conversation with Jen from My Holistic Self talking about the human design Rav I Ching cards. Fascinating. And I was looking at them at a very superficial level. And when you got somebody who's got as much knowledge as Jen does, mind blown. So, yeah. So, Magic Tool Talk, laugh and learn about the sense of smell. Let's say hi to some people, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And going all the way to Plucky Heroine is here. Hello. And Plucky has jumped over to Betsy's channel to say hello.
Thank you.
Lottie B is here. Fogo Pogo is here.
Hi.
Fogo it was actually listening in on the last live. And oh, look, Penelope Gordon.
Hi, Sissy.
Oh, hello.
That's my sister, Ritchie.
Oh, hi, sis.
Penny, this is Ritchie.
She does readings too, but only pets.
Oh,
she's
how cute.
The queen of pet animal communication.
Oh, I have to make sure I subscribe and follow.
There you go. Nancy, A Crone's Intuition is here.
Nancy.
Good to see you. Kathy, Tortoiseshell Moon. Actually, Tortoiseshell Moon, Kathy. Marita is here. Hello. And Lynn Hayes, good to see you. And we have Best Mods are putting in the channels here. Thank you.
Thank you, Maruta. I'm going to butcher your name. Sorry.
I still butcher it. Jeffrey says it correctly. And, and every time he says it's actually this, I'm looking.
Yeah.
So, Jane the Secret is here. And I am with Jane the Secret tomorrow morning for Tuesdays with TarotStache, exclusively on Jane the Secret Tarot. Alice L is here.
Hello.
Michelle Krantz, good to see you, Michelle. Jonathan Daly is here. Hello, Jonathan.
Good to see you here.
So, and there you go. And
hey, sissy.
There you go. And Jane's Jane's saying hello to everyone, and Maruta is hi, Penelope. Nice to meet you. So we're talking about the sense of smell. Now, the sense of smell in my by the way, Ritchie, I don't know if you did any preparation. I think Betsy may have done all of the preparation for us because she said she found some interesting factoids.
Well, don't get too excited. It's one little sheet, but I wrote little.
I've got a blank Post-it note, so I'm ready to go. Oh, and I've even got a pen. There you go.
Yes.
So
That's good. That's good.
Ready.
So, clairsalience is clear smelling, and the insights come through the perception of smell, and such as smelling your deceased grandmother's perfume when there's no one else around. And these odors can also be perceived and not actually carry the physical sensation of smell.
Yeah.
So, and they can be overwhelming. That sense of smell. So,
and there's a word for that.
What is that?
Let me get it. Let me try to get my Latin on.
Ooh.
Hyperosmia.
Hyperosmia.
Yes, and this can be genetic. This could be chronic. You could be born with it, or it could be a long time thing, or it could be acute. It could be something like epileptic people have this, or becoming pregnant, hapai, can trigger this, and it is trigger smells that do overwhelm you and can lead to a lot of body responses, including migraines and seizures and just almost a panic state.
Yeah.
I'm curious if anybody has the clairsalience. Do either of you have it?
I don't. As far as I'm aware, I've actually got. I haven't got a brilliant sense of smell generally. That's from years of smoking. I think has probably knocked that one on the head. Having said that, there have been times when I have smelt scents from spirit that have been visiting, which has been super strong. So that's why, because I don't have a great sense of smell, when I do pick up stuff, I know that that's important.
Okay.
Well,
and Betsy, you do?
Then wait, I think that means you do have it, Ritchie.
Possibly, yeah. Again, it's probably one of those things that I probably not necessarily need to work on, but need to be more aware of.
Yes.
Hey, there's no perfect time for anything. We get it when we need to.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Well, and I think it's one of those things until we actually, when we pay attention to it, we notice the things that we have always had, but we didn't realize that not everyone has those things. So, Jane said they trigger memories, and I smell loved ones. And Maruta said also nausea. Yep. And Jonathan does get smells, just have not a clue as to their meanings. Okay.
Well, I have a really good story about that. At my workplace, everybody knows that we have resident ghosts, and we went through a period of them trying to get our attention by walking ahead of us a few steps and letting out a pooter. And I even confirmed this with my coworker when I said, "Do you every now and then get this smell?" And she said, "Yes, what is that?" So I busted him out on that, and I said, "You guys are going to have to do something different. We busted now." And that was the end of it. Once I busted him on it, I was like, "We know it's you. I know what you're doing."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
So you have this, Claire, Betsy, is that right?
Yeah, it wouldn't be my strongest one, but
Okay.
when it's relevant, there it is.
Yeah. Ritchie, were you going to ask a question?
Well, I was going to just say, comment on what Jane said about, and I've lost the comment now, see if I can find it.
I'll find it.
They trigger memories. And I think that, for me, the sense of smell is the strongest, one of the strongest. Let's start this one again. If I smell something that I link with a very strong memory, it takes me back there more than any of my other scents that come in there. So I can walk past somebody, particularly pick up on an aftershave or perfume, and and that will automatically make me think of that person and the situation. And it can go back years. I can still, if I walk past somebody that had my first ever school teacher when I was 6 years old, and I smell somebody that's got her perfume on, I'm automatically transported back there. And I just think that's such a powerful sense that we have with the five senses. And quite often I think perhaps other people don't realize how powerful this of the five senses it actually is. We tend to not use it quite as much as we perhaps do unless we are having talks like this and realizing the importance of it. But I absolutely agree with Jane when she says it triggers memories, because for me, whenever I'm going around and I'll pick up a scent, it will bring back a memory straight away and I'm transported there.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You go ahead, Gerald, and then we will review some notes, because Ritchie is so on target with
he's very on target. And I also think that that's where the sense of smell is an important aspect in any time you are doing magic, because if you associate a smell or a scent with ritual working, it helps you to get into that ritual space. It helps you to immediately be embedded in that and to be able to push it forward. It adds an interesting layer. So I think the most effective spell work should include something of all of the senses. So it's rose water is one that a lot of people use. I use frankincense. Some people use patchouli, and those are the things that they remind us of. And then, therefore, if you are thinking of it, then you can be there.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Betsy?
Well, when I Googled around on this, what I came up with about scent and memory and intention, it almost seemed like it was as immediate as that whole talking to your water thing about whatever you put into the water changes the water.
Yep.
It happens so fast. And so let me tell you what I found out. That the reason that it transports you so quickly is, now I found a lot of different numbers, but scent can be decoded by the brain as fast as 110 milliseconds. Now, I found other numbers up to 600 milliseconds. So, but anyway, it happens too fast to even be able to comprehend how quickly it's processed. And the way this happens is a gland that sits right up above your sinuses, behind your eyes. It has nerve branches that grow into your sinuses, and those nerve receptors receive the aroma, the odor, and it is transported immediately to your limbic system, which is kind of an older part of the brain that is very closely tied to basic survival instincts. Yes. It triggers through the hippocampus memory and learning, and through the amygdala your emotions. The limbic system is also responsible for the very basic fight and flight and freeze responses, also in reproduction and child rearing. These very, very important things to humankind. This is the sense of scent is the fastest connectivity in the brain to memory, the fastest and strongest connection to memory in the brain, faster than sight, sound, or touch. And also, a reason that this happens so quickly, and what I've discovered when I was noodling around was, as humans evolved, our brains evolved as well. And the systems of sight, sound, touch changed to better suit the creatures we're becoming. But the sense of smell did not change. That route stayed exactly the same, very primal, direct route to the hippocampus. So this is why it triggers the emotional response so quickly, because it is such a strong path to memory, and it's all based on your past experiences.
I love it.
So the neurotransmitters in this process can be serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins, as well as others. Pleasant aromas research shows it can increase your effectiveness in completing tasks and stimulate you to be kind. Unpleasant aromas can actually enhance performance on complex or tedious tasks. I'm assuming that's because you want to get it over with. But also, responding to unpleasant odors can also impair judgment and decrease patience.
Yep.
Oh.
I love that.
There's my factoids.
Those are really good factoids, and I love this because I was just on with Jen, and I told her, I said, "Oh, we're talking about the sense of smell," and she said, "Well, smell is associated with instinct," which is exactly what you said, Betsy, and you're right. It's the most direct route to the brain for processing data because of its. I mean, it's close.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, yeah, there you go. Betsy Palmer gets the Overachiever Award for the show.
I just really like neurology in school, so.
Yeah, that's so good. And
interesting.
It's interesting, but about instinct.
Yeah.
And so,
well, it's I haven't read anything about this, and as you were reading that out, Betsy, it kind of solidified a lot of the things I've thought about smell. One of the reasons why is that my mum lost her sense of smell when she was alive at about the age that I was in. So I'm always worried that it's going to happen to me. And so I'd often think about the smell and what she missed out on and what started to compensate in a way for the loss of a sense. But going back about sort of how the other senses kind of compensated or started to develop as we matured and developed. I always think that smell is such a, I'm not going to say primitive or primate, but you can imagine if you were hunting, hunter-gatherers, that sense of smell would have been so important.
Yes.
And you would use it, so you'd be able to smell the prey, you'd be able to smell, the ground and the area around you, and it would help you so much more. And now, of course, what do? We mask a lot of stuff with fake smells and aftershaves, and not that that's wrong, but our sense of smell seems to have gone off in a different direction. At least for me, it is. If I blindfolded you guys and put headphones over you, took you outside and said, "What time of the year is it? What season?" Your smell would be able to probably tell you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Marita said, smelling food and smelling predators and friends were key to survival.
And think about it. What are you going to notice first? Are you going to hear something off in the distance? Are you going to see something off in the distance? Or if there's a fire off in the distance, what's the first thing? You're going to smell smoke.
Yeah.
It travels so fast.
Yeah. I was recently doing some studying about, I don't remember what it was. I don't know if it was, I was doing a deep dive into a deck or something where somebody was actually talking about people who are very connected to the earth have the ability to use their sense of smell because they can tell when it's going to rain, not necessarily by what they see, it's by what they smell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And because you know, and so it's like people who were you know, where's our food? They can smell them before they can feel them or hear them. So
Yeah.
Jonathan said,
living in the tropics, when the barometer drops before a rain, boy, can you smell it big time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Jonathan said the group of brain areas that are best known for processing emotions, learning, and memory also process odors. And so when you smell something to process the smell, your brain uses the same area of memory. And so I actually have, I do have, I have, I don't know if it's a keen sense of smell, but I am particular about what I smell. Because I want detergents and soap without scents.
Yeah.
Because it interferes with me and it's unpleasant. And so, but I want to get caught up in chat because a few people have added some things. Plucky Heroine asks, can scent overwhelm the reading?
Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, haven't we all at times been overwhelmed by a sensation of something, whether it's ringing in your ear or the landscapers come and you can't hear anything? Yeah, that stuff happens. So absolutely.
Yes. And I would say when we're doing our work, our spiritual work, our magical work, we're reading, when the scent comes in, when you pay attention to it, that is an indication of a good option or something you need to pay attention to.
Yep.
So,
what is the message with the scent?
yes. So, and Ritchie, you've been spending. I'm going to jump to an assumption.
Go on.
You have been enjoying being outside and connecting to trees and the earth. How is this impacting your sense of smell, or is it?
I've noticed by being more active and more in the moment, natural smells, natural scents, let's call it that. So, for example, I live very near the sea. And depending on what the weather's been up to, the sea changes its smell. So it could have a lot of seaweed in there. There might be a little breeze. Quite often the rocks and the shingle and the sand will have a different smell. And they all kind of not necessarily compete with one another, but you can go for a walk one day and the smell will hit you, and another time it will be quite subtle. And I found that the same thing happens if I go working with trees any time of the year. Now is the perfect time because all the leaves are falling off here in the northern hemisphere. They're all beginning to rot down. The fungus are having a wonderful time, and you have that great earthy smell. And for me, particularly this year, it's been a huge chance to do more grounding work, to do more calming, to do more mindfulness, to actually get your hands in the dirt and actually get that sense. And it's almost like a calling in many ways. I find that smell. It's just really wonderful. And I just, you can't bottle that smell. You can't reproduce that smell. There's nothing in the world quite like it. And for me, it's very calming. It's very meditative. It puts me into my safe space. It puts me into my good place. And that's what I'm really noticing. And the more you work with it, the quicker it is to trigger, the quicker it is to get into that state that you would like to get into.
And so
making new neural pathways, right? The
Exactly.
whole basis of NLP, yes?
Yeah.
Well, and I would also say to that is getting you comfortable like that with it, it's helping your instinct.
Yes.
It's honing your and enlightening your instincts for that magical purpose, because you're associating these things with the magical and spiritual aspect.
Yeah.
So, Beth loves that, a calling. And Marita says, I call my best friend Jody the Nose.
I could see if it was Jody or Jedi.
And Michelle Marie said, my insanely strong sense of smell saved my life. I later read in my teacher's book that the personality connected to my yogic point indicates a strong sense of smell. Blew my mind. I love that.
It's a gift.
It is a gift. And Beth said, I think scent can overwhelm anything, especially if the person is sensitive to all smells or that one in particular. Yeah. Which is why, Ritchie, one of the things that we were talking about on your channel on Friday is how do you prepare for a reading face to face? And, I'm always asking is like, do you mind incense? And if somebody says, yes, I mind it, then I don't use it.
Yeah. I'm very cautious of when to use incense, particularly indoors. Always make sure you've got a window open. In fact, it's true, any smells that you're bringing in to actually work with your activities, let's put it that way there, just because some people can be quite allergic or have, and particularly animals, if you've got animals indoors, they work completely different to our way of sense. So I'm just going to put that out there to people. I'm sure people know, but if you're going to light some incense, open a window at the same time or put a fan on.
Sure. So yes, scent can overwhelm the readings. And I would say it is important that when you are smelling something to articulate it, because it could be the message that your client needs to hear.
Yes.
And it can definitely indicate who is communicating with you.
Yeah.
So, Tortoiseshell Moon Kathy said, I went to my daughter's school. The smell of school toast immediately transported me to being a kid at school myself. It's so evocative.
Yeah.
That's a great word too, by the way.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I'm going to write that down.
I just did. So then we have, so in terms of a reading, would you then describe your memory to the sitter and see if they can identify with it?
I will do what I'm smelling and what they're showing me with the scent. I do.
I would say what I'm smelling.
Yeah.
And I would start there because it may trigger something for the person. And then I would say for me, certain things, that smell makes me feel safe. That smell reminds me of my mother or my grandmother or something like that. So, but yeah, that's a great question. And these are wonderful questions. So, and Jonathan uses specific incense for part of the rituals. Yes. And again, it's part of that is you build up an understanding of it. So that if you're always doing magic or if you're always sitting down meditating with the same incense, when you're smell that incense, you get the benefit of those years and years of meditation.
Yeah.
Plucky said artificial fragrances, especially those preserving eucalyptus, pine, and cinnamon, really make me ill.
Oh.
I have to, for entertainment purposes only, I like the true essences. I don't want any fake stuff because that just there.
Yeah.
Rossi said women's senses of smell is stronger than men's. Duh. Women, the higher, the more empowered gender.
Absolutely.
I mean, talk about survival. So.
Well, we had to multitask with all the tasks of survival plus the babies, right?
Yes. Yeah, and depending upon them, especially depending upon your part of your cycle too. Yeah. Hi, Claudia. Good to see you. So are there, okay, Beth shared, my ex-mother-in-law always wore Giorgio perfume. She and my eldest were very close. After she died, on her birthday, my daughter smelled Giorgio around her.
Nice.
Yep. So, okay.
I think can we talk about that point for a moment? Is that all right? You haven't got it planned in for later on, but it's interesting when somebody passes on an anniversary, or particularly just around the time they've passed, how many people do get a sense, an essence of something. It's happened to me a few times. It's usually lilies. I get the smell of lilies very, very strong. And it's often between from the passing to the actual funeral, that time period that happens in there. And it's very, very evocative. And I find it actually, although I can't bear the smell of lilies, I have to be brutally honest, because I find them sickly sweet. It's a very interesting set of emotions that come out of it. And for me, that tells me that a loved one, or anyone that you may know that has come into the room, but it's usually a loved one, then why would they visit you if not? Are close and they are with you at that time. And it's actually happened where I was with a friend at the time, and a mutual friend had passed away, and both of us got this sense. Both of us. It wasn't just one person going, "Oh, I can smell lilies." It was really, really strong. Like somebody had just got a whole bunch of lilies and kind of wafted them around under our noses. And it was with us for a couple of minutes, and we were both talking and explaining what we could smell, so that we were both aware of it. So it wasn't just figments of imagination. That was a really interesting moment.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I want to say Lynn shared, I am a retired firefighter medic, and I smell danger situations acutely. Thank you for that. Holy mackerel. Yes. And Michelle shared, comments in the chat are great because they're the best chatters. Various types of incense are also recommended for each deity associated with the planets. It's a wonderful addition to any mantra or japa practice. And yeah, I think that's awesome. Claudia shared, I am chemically sensitive. I am the human version of the canary in the coal mine. Well, okay. And Pia's Eclectic Life is here. Good to see you.
Ew.
So, okay. Well, here, let's everybody have a break and think about other questions that you might have.
Sip, sip.
This section of the video is brought to you by the word kokua. Everyone say it with me. Kokua. Kokua. A Hawaiian word which translates to extending loving and sacrificial help to others for their benefit and not for personal gain. Kokua.
That's so sweet. Thank you.
I love that word. It was one of those things I think you may have sent it to me. And I was like going, oh my gosh, we all need more of that.
Yeah.
That is huge in the culture here, in Polynesian culture. Yeah. There's bumper stickers everywhere you go that say, live aloha, practice aloha. And what it comes down to is kokua, humility and kokua. Really.
Yes.
It's taking care of others. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, because it's the right thing to do.
Indeed.
Yes. Yeah, a good word. Jen is here. Inspiration Psychology with Jen.
Jen, hi, Hen. How are you?
And can finally join in chatting. Thank you. And okay, and Beth said, okay, wait a minute. Can I show that? Okay, Beth said, okay, that's a great name for a dog. Just saying. And I mean, so I mean, and this is one of those things that as we think about Kokua, it's important to do it, to appreciate it when you see it being done, and to teach it with the sense of you're not asking for anything in exchange. It's the right thing to do, and kids learn that way. So, and Kathy said, "Can you smell things in your mind, like the smell equivalent of playing a tune in your mind? It's a strange thing." That's a great question. What do you two think?
Yeah.
I think oh no, go ahead, Ritchie.
No, go on, Betsy. I think you can smell things in your mind. Yeah, absolutely. Go on, Betsy. I'm going to pass that one over to you.
Yeah, I think if you're being inspired, like, why do I smell orange rinds? What in your mind, if it's not outward, but in your mind, it's like you're sensing the smell of orange rind. That's someone trying to get your attention. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think you can smell in your dreams as well, or you can recognize smells in your dreams.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes. And there you go. Synesthesia.
Synesthesia.
There you go.
There you go.
So,
Boom.
and Angela Cartomancy Mesquite is here, and Angela will be on tomorrow on my channel at 4 p.m. Eastern. She and Purple Elephant Deb H will be asking Jamie and me questions for a back and forth.
Nice.
So, okay. So I also think, in the information that I have, these odors can also be perceived and not actually carry the physical sensation of smell. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think smell is so very important because what is it? 85% of taste is smell. That's why, I don't know about you as a kid. Sometimes as an adult, I would hold my nose when I had to take medicine that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But, here you go. Kaylee said, Tanis did an exercise, one of which is what does love smell like, taste like, etc. Love smelled like my favorite bread my mom makes. I can picture the smell even if it's not there.
Oh my.
It's a great exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah. And same goes for when I'm stressed. I'll picture certain scents, frankincense and orange, to help me relax.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, because I've talked about this with someone using crystals, because you can't walk around with every rock on the planet on your body. And if you find yourself in a situation saying, geez, I wish I had some black tourmaline right now, that's your cue to call in the deities that are represented with black tourmaline and ask for that essence. Why wouldn't it be the same with this? Why would it not be the same?
That's so true.
I do a similar thing when working with cards, is that I quite often think, what are the smells, what are the essences coming out of the card? So to me, the High Priestess, it's incense. The Magician, you've got those roses and lilies around. The Tower card is that kind of static electric petrichor kind of rain smell, and I try and do that when I'm working and helping people learn tarot as well, is to bring that sense in, because as you said, it's a very fast sense to pick up on. So when you're reading a card and perhaps you haven't got anywhere to go to, you're a little bit lost, that can be a way into it.
like that.
I love that, Richie. I never thought of calling scent in with cards
Ritchie for the win.
Good.
for the win.
There's a whole live there, isn't it? Go through 78 cards and what does it smell of?
Well, that's a really interesting topic, and I also like it in the sense of helping you get into that reading space.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes, well, I have a ritual before I sit down to do a live, and Ritchie and I talked a little bit about yesterday about things that, well, on Friday, about things that we do to prepare for an in-person reading. It's that ritual. I think including scent to that is a really powerful thing.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
I mean, we could do it now. You could picture a card and just go, what does it smell like? Something like the Ten of Swords. For me, that's got that blood and mud and everything with it, that smell. Whereas something like the Nine of Pentacles or something like that, gardens, freshly cut grass, that kind of thing. Really interesting to do that exercise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Beth says that would be a fun live and a long live.
We could do it in 2 parts.
That is, I'm never gonna. This has changed. This has changed cards for me. All of a sudden, it's like, ah!
I love that. I love that. Well, and Diana said, "Oh goodness, I fell asleep and woke up to smell-o-vision." And and Beth said, "Right now, for me, the smell of love is my dog's head." Yep. Yep. And Clarence Fields is here. Hi, Clarence.
Hi.
Good to see you. Good to see you. So, and I guess Rossi signed up for somebody's class. Okay. And Jonathan loves that too. Great exercises for deepening your understanding of the cards. Yep. The Fool, a daisy. And it's a great idea. The Empress, a rose.
Nice.
And by Plucky, internet is buffering badly. Someone I work with smells words and not food words like you think, but words like logic.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's the synesthesia thing, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So my guides keep leaning on me to start talking about how do you use scent to prepare yourself on any given situation. How is it that you're already doing ritual in your daily life? Think about taking a shower, getting ready for work, and you put on perfume, or preparing for a reading and incense or candle or oils, or going into a situation where you want to feel a certain way. They're leaning on me about wanting people to notice how they're already casting their spell work with scent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm sure that's a big part of the reason why we're here, overstating the obvious. But they won't let up. I've been sitting here for a while like, yeah! I feel like Goldberg. All right already. So yeah, so for me, before coming on, because I have a myriad of scents, and I was like, what am I going to choose for this? And I looked at all the oils that I've been using and was like, no. And I just kept walking, and suddenly I heard the word rose, and I was like, no, the rose oil I have is not a real one. No, I don't think I want that, because that one stays strong all day. And then I found my rose geranium that was in the back of the pile, and this has to be my number one favorite scent of all time, rose geranium. Oh my gosh, it just transports me into a mental space of yeah.
I love that. And Jen said, for me, it's a specific perfume on client days.
Yeah. That's me at the jewelry store. I have a Cartier men's cologne that people seem to really respond well to me when I'm wearing it as compared to my other couple of favorites.
Yeah. Ms.
Hi.
Tarot D is here.
Hi.
So yeah, I think for me is I like frankincense incense, and it has to be a good quality frankincense incense or incense, because if they're too powdery or too fluffy smelling, I don't like them. They actually have a negative reaction.
Yeah.
The sense of coffee is something also that helps me to go, it has memory. Yeah, Betsy's like, good. Oh, yes. So, and I think that that's something also important too. So your assignment, everybody, is for the next week, notice the scents that are around you. And Jonathan said, I used to have a spritzer with my own mix of rose, cedar, sage, lavender, lang lang, and others. I used to cleanse my workspace between acupuncture treatments. Yep.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how that scent, when you like, when I open this, what does it trigger for you straight away? And yeah, and just being aware of, I'm going into situation whatever, and here's how I choose to show up, present.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that is the first thing that meets people, the sense of smell.
Yeah.
So, and Diana said, I get so upset when they stop making my favorite store perfumes.
Guess who's here?
Oh, great.
Oh, and they're on my channel too. Holy cow.
That's great.
How do I remove?
Jonathan, are you over there where you can go over to Betsy's channel?
I'm hitting remove. Put user in timeout for 24 hours. There we go. Oh, thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Okay, so back to Lily of the Valley is one of my favorite scents.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. Rossi said coffee is home. Since I was a kid, I make espresso for my dad. Aw.
Oh, and they're back.
So Jonathan's got him.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing them because I have them blocked, but okay. I know it's no longer safe or healthy, but I used to love the smell of baby powder.
Ew, no. Oh man.
I like the smell of talcum powder.
Yes.
Yeah.
That Clubman talcum powder. It works.
Well, I was a kid in the 70s, and there were a lot of perfumes that smelled like a baby scent. And I, for the life of me, I must have known I was never meant to have kids, because I could not imagine what was attractive about smelling like a diaper.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Beth said florals don't work with my pheromones.
Oh, hey, Jonathan, you got to time that one out. Tarot Destroyer's back. Yeah. Instead of just remove them, got to time them out.
Yeah, time them out. All right. And my cologne makes people either hungry or they want to travel, coconut or vanilla.
Yeah. Well, and we all know retail stores use those scents really specifically. Baking scents, vanilla is a huge one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to talk about how much I wear and use patchouli. And I wear it on when I'm not at work. So I will wear patchouli oil on scarves and things and clothes around. But I don't actually 100% like the smell of it. But it's a smell that I think I should wear, and I feel more confident and more empowered when I wear it. But it's interesting that it's not a smell that I particularly. I warm to it because I wouldn't put it on and wouldn't wear it. But it's something that is not my favorite smell. Something more piney. So I like a lot of sort of forest smells, like we talked about earlier, but particularly pine wood, pine needles, all those ones. I love Christmas because there's so many wonderful evergreen forest smells coming out, and candles and incense and stuff like that. So, but that's interesting. I just think that patchouli empowers me, but it's not a particularly smell that I would warm to or would necessarily choose to wear if it didn't have such a strong effect on me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Patchouli is really tricky because it just depends. It seems like it depends on the situation. It can be empowering or it can be like
overwhelming. I think it's the amount of patchouli. And it's the amount of anything. So Tortoiseshell Moon, Kathy said, I do love the smell of frankincense, but it transports me to Catholic Church. I didn't have trauma related. I don't have trauma related to that, but I'd rather not. So I don't use frankincense often. And Jonathan, you actually have to.
I block them out. I time them out for 24 hours on my channel. So, geez.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. Tarot Destroyer timed out for 24 hours. Hopefully that did it.
So, so I actually like frankincense because I was a server at Mass, and it's just a lot of fun. So I have good associations with that. So
I'm not a fan of Palo Santo. I have to be honest. It doesn't do anything for me. And I'm also honest, sage doesn't do much for me either. Sage in places I'd rather spray it than burn it. I have to be honest.
That can really overwhelm too. I agree. There's time and place. At work, I use the spray instead of burning. It depends on how enclosed the space is. Obviously, my place, you see my hair blowing around. Burning comes and goes pretty fast.
We don't want that. So, but so I think the sense of smell, it's one of those things that it is frankincense and myrrh. And I also think the sense of smell, we can associate it with the seasons. Too. I like evergreen. And so I like having evergreen around, especially during the winter, because it makes me feel good. So, and Laura in Florida, horses smell amazing. I love burying my nose in my cat's fur. Yep.
Indeed.
Yes, me too.
Yep. And so I think
wait, what?
Oh,
what was that about the avalanche? Wait.
That's Tarot Destroyer's buddy.
Oh, okay. Got that. Put user in timeout. 24 hours. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Gerald's gone. This is interesting that this conversation has attracted that much. Why has this conversation attracted that much attention from those guys?
I don't know, but we have the pine,
evergreen, Absolutely, yeah. That's my smell, and it's got to be a careful one because things like that can easily tip into toilet cleaner territory. So
Yes.
always
Yes.
make sure that it's a really good one. It's got to be the right. And what's very strange is my sister has exactly the same passion for that smell. We're both going by the same Yankee candles that have got the same smell, even though it's really interesting. We've never talked about it, but we like the same smells. That's really odd.
I think that's really interesting. I think that's because I just think for me, oil paint. I love oil paint. I love the smell of oil paint because it just oozes creativity for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
I think one of the interesting things is let's think about this. Let's sort of bring this around full circle. Clairsalience is or clear smelling. Insights come through the perception of smell. And as Betsy said, smell is one of the fastest connectors to our brain, something of 100,000th of a millisecond or something like that. So it's really quick. Paying attention to that can really augment what we're doing and it really helps set our intentions on the right path and it could help us bring it back to where it needs to be it can sometimes tell when we've actually gone off track and then to get back. So
and I think also because it does have such a strong link to memory, if you're working on establishing a new neural pathway, it's another method, right? They say if you say something to make a new pathway, it's hundreds of times, but if you sing it, it decreases. So this would be kind of along, the same way of helping your neural pathways to learn a new something, associate this smell with the direction you're choosing.
I love that.
That'd be so interesting and I'm sure there's been lots of tests done, but I've never actually practiced this myself, of if you're learning a skill for a test or an exam, what would happen if you had a certain smell that you were, whilst you were revising, whilst you were working on it, and then come to the day that it's needed, even if you can't burn that smell or have that smell around, you sat in an exam room and thought about that smell. How would it affect your performance on the day? It'd be really interesting to know.
Why not?
Well, and I think there have been studies about that. If you're learning things and you're smelling them, they help you to remember them.
Yes.
So, and home realtors will bake cookies in a home to help sell a home.
Yeah. Throw in the frozen bread log.
Oh yeah. I mean, you didn't even mention bread. Bread and stuff like that.
Oh gosh.
But
yeah, I remember seeing a news bit on the morning news one time where they were talking about this very same thing, relating to perfumes, and somebody said, and one of the anchors asked the experts, well, what sense do men respond to? Because most of the conversation was, what do women respond to? And they said, well, what sense do men respond to? And the expert looked at her deadpan and said, roasted chicken.
Well, I'm now thinking about if you're doing this studying of like a tarot deck and associating those those cards with a scent, that adds a whole new layer.
This is inevitable, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a foregone conclusion at this point.
We totally have to do that.
And did you see that Leah said what you had said earlier, Ritchie? I have smelled and tasted in dreams.
Yeah.
Just like you, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Ace of Wands is cinnamon. Why not?
Ritchie, I think, here's what's going to happen. We're going to get a message, Betsy, from Ritchie tomorrow that he was up most of the night and he has like all of them done.
Not only that, I've got my favorite deck and I've drenched it in essential oils. Particular, it would smell disgusting altogether, but boy, does it read well. Yeah. You can read it in the dark.
This is the pine deck. This is the patchouli deck. This is the lemon deck. Yeah.
And Wayne says tests have shown that arousal is triggered in men by the scent of cinnamon.
Ooh.
Could be. And students will chew the same flavor gum for memory. There have been research, psychology and sociology degree completed. My undergraduate studies, now I'm in my master's social work. Very good.
There you go, Ritchie.
There you go.
It's proven. Your hypothesis is now a theory.
Marvelous.
There you go. And Jonathan said Ace of Wands is a campfire smell. Well, but I think that's really exciting. I love that. So
my mind went right to the gutter.
Well, yes.
Hey, Ritchie, what's the Knight of Wands?
I don't know. Maybe ruddy person around.
Oh, I think it's something like a pepper, like a fiery kind of something like that. Something spicy, I reckon.
Spicy. Okay, that's good.
Something
we'll go. Probably, that's a safer direction than where my
taste, isn't it, rather than a smell? But you get, I suppose, like a wasabi or something like that, perhaps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here you go. Did you mention bacon? We did not, but oh, here you go. Laura in Florida said another weird one I love is the green parts of tomato plants.
I had a Joe Malone cologne that was green tomatoes that was so good, and I found a candle somewhere along the line. Oh my God, it was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally get it.
Well, and I think it's important for us to pay attention to this. And as Betsy said, and your team said, pay attention to the rituals that you already have. And what I've learned in my years of living is that if you spend a little bit of time fixing something that improving upon something you already are doing, the results are greater than trying to start something completely new.
Like that.
So start with what you know and fine tune it.
That's excellent advice.
Yeah. So
stick to what you know. Yeah.
Stick to what you know, fine tune it, understand it.
And expand it. Let it grow. Let it bloom. Yeah. Yes. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering if I can make some soup this evening for dinner because I love a soup. So anyhow. Ritchie, what do you have coming up on your channel?
Well, I'm going to be quiet for a little week or so because I've got this reading. I'm doing this live readings that I know we've talked about a lot, but that's happening this Friday. So I want to get that out of the way. And do you know what? I'd probably be talking about the smells in tarot cards for a few weeks, I can imagine, coming up.
I love it.
I'm going to have...
Anyone fancy joining me for that one?
Well, if we're available, hey.
But now already I'm going to start going through my decks and deciding which cards in the different decks, the same card in the different decks, smell alike or different already.
Ooh, interesting.
Yep.
Well,
yeah,
Ritchie. Thanks, Ritchie.
Yeah, thanks, Ritchie. Well,
that's your weekend sorted then, isn't it?
Thanks a lot.
Well, yeah, and how many of us smell decks?
Yes.
Oh,
and like Amber said, we smell books.
Yes.
So, those are all very appropriate things. So, but yeah. Betsy, what do you have coming up?
I actually am off YouTube for a little while until the 28th when I'm back with you, Sir Gerald. And I've already forgotten what we were talking about. Let me see if I put a note in here.
I know what you're doing.
Medium? Me? Who, me?
Yeah, and do we know who's joining us for that? I think if everybody likes and subscribes to all of the channels, they'll find out. So there you go. Later tonight, I am doing Mystic 4, doing readings with that. And then I have a deck casual with Thomas from Tarot Your Way. We're talking about the Happy Cloud, or that no, not the Happy Cloud. It's the Word Cloud Tarot.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
So, and then back and forth with Jamie and Gerald, I have Angela and Deb on to ask us questions. So I have got a whole bunch of stuff coming up this week, and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled because I'm reading with Michelle and Tanis on Wednesday, and I'm talking about bibliomancies on Thursday, and then I'm doing polyterology on Friday. So it's like, oh my gosh. The smell of mimeograph test.
Yeah, that fluid was almost like smelling gasoline, wasn't it?
Yes. So, all right. Well, we will say goodbye to everybody. Thank you. Bacon is the king of pentacles.
Yes, it is.
And I would say, everybody, leave your comments below so that we know the smells associated with each of the cards. And Ritchie, I totally love that. I think it's a great idea. So, all right. Yeah, I know. I'm like, well, this is great. So, thank you, Laura, for being here. And Jen said, absolutely love spending this time with you. Three incredible people. Aw, it's great to see you.
Good to see you, Han.
So, yep, another great chat. Thank you, Wayne. And I'm curious about what you would list. And but anytime you're doing something and you want to set intention is one thing. Support it with all of your senses. I think that is incredible. So
yeah.
All right, we will head out. So everyone take care. Bye.
Hello.
This section of the video is brought to you by the word kokua. Everyone say it with me. Kokua. Kokua. A Hawaiian word which translates to extending loving and sacrificial help to others for their benefit and not for personal gain.